Hey, what up, guys? This is Sarkodie, Sarkodie, and I just spoke my truth on Afrobeat Intelligence. You already know what time it is.
Afrobeat Intelligence Podcast.
Afrobeat Intelligence, democratizing African music.
First, well done on the project with Bob Marley and the Wailers on Stir It Up. Beautiful record.
Thank you.
Record.
Thank you so much.
And your take on it was a bit nostalgic for me. It just feels like I'm being transported to an earlier time when there's so much love and all of that stuff. And I'm just wondering, I know you said, it was you didn't want to do it because of the weight of what it represents, talent-wise and legacy-wise. But now that you've done it, how does it feel?
I feel like I did the right thing, made the right choice. I did not miss on the opportunity that was supposed to happen. I love the reception, and I think from the day that the vocals was laid, of course I'm good with the rap, but I just wanted the confirmation from his side, the team, the label, and then the family. And when I got the green light, I loved it more. So yes, I'm proud of myself that I've been able to deliver.
But is this something that you've ever, before prior to when the email came, when they sent that email, is this something that you've ever wanted to do? Like you've ever considered at all, like even in your wildest imaginations?
Nah, I think you've been considering such a move. Yes, you could consider sampling a Bob Marley record. I think it's not. Yes, it's hard, but you can think it's not far fetched because you have to go through process. Worst case scenario, it's going to cost you money, but that you can pay. But for them to put you on their project, I think it's even disrespectful to have that thought. It's not something you're going to be thinking about. Yeah.
But this can also be said of you, like with what you've done and how you have navigated the industry. This can also be said of you. Other people would look at you and say, I cannot be on a Sarkodie project, even to think about it, because it would be disrespectful. Because on your own end, you are a legend of the art on the continent. And at this point, what does it mean? Like when you think about like legacy and moving forward, what does that mean for you?
Yes, I think legacy is important. And me personally, I think I've put in enough work that even if you did not care about legacy at this point, it's like by default, you definitely care about legacy because you've been doing this for a very long time. So it's only worth that you don't waste all these years that you've put in this work into it. So yes, you definitely want to leave something behind. And people like Bob Marley, I'm pretty sure we're going to get to that question about my inspiration from him. But that is something that I took from people like him, people like Jay-Z, Michael Jackson, Tupac. Your legacy lives on. You whatever position you position yourself is going to determine how long your brand is going to stay and the impact you're going to have even when you're not here. So yes, I think it's very necessary. I'm still navigating my way to build something, but I think I keep it as organic as it could be, because all these people, I don't think, sat down and think we want to create a legacy. They just took a course and stayed to it. So I'm learning a lot on how to build that, but I think it's very necessary to leave a legacy behind.
When you think about the legacies that have inspired you, and Bob Marley is one of them, you mentioned something about like getting to the question about how his work really inspired you. And for you, in what way can you find like what you do in Bob Marley's work?
I found out later on in my career when I realized that it's not just music; it's way bigger than that. You have a bigger responsibility that goes beyond just dropping hit records and making people feel good, and that's it. You have a mouthpiece. You have ears that people would kill for. So you also have the responsibility to educate, patch broken situations. You could actually solve issues. So that is, to me, that's what I picked up from the legacy of Bob Marley. Of course, we love the music, but to me, that stands out way more. There's a lot of people that know Bob Marley, but not even necessarily be to the music. But because of what he stood for as an artist, I just had to realize my own that's the similarities that I saw. I had to realize that, listen, we have certain artists who are not given that mantle. They could entertain and get away with it. They'll say stuff and get away with it. But I see the response when I do something, whether good or bad, negative or positive. It's very intense, at least from where I'm from. So I get to understand that I have a bigger responsibility that's beyond music. And that's, to me, some similarities that I kind of like notice that is right that I take the path of these great people.
True, beautiful. But breaking it down, when you got the record, like getting the record, like Stir It Up, how was that recording process? Because you said you were going to share a lot more about it. How was the process for you? Did you get the record? You had to splice it yourself. How did it work?
Yes, so we're given the files, the original files, his original vocals that he took, and that was like very spiritual moment. I remember, I think I got it on camera.
The original?
Yes, the original. That's the original vocals.
No way.
Yeah. And it took us like 2-3 hours to open because it's old programs that they used. So we had to like try to find programs that can open the file. It took us, big shouts to Posse G and MOG. That is why I took them with me, because it would have been very difficult. And then within 2-3 hours, the files were loaded, like one after the other, the lead, the back end, everything.
Yeah.
And that was very spiritual. I think I captured that on camera. So yes, it was after 2-3 hours, we opened it. And I was very nervous. I've been saying this because this is
how did it sound?
It's beautiful. There is no effects. Bob is literally singing. All the back and everything is like. I think we still have it, because it's in our possession. It's actually beautiful, and I was like, because I thought it was going to be, okay, they have done it, and then they will leave a beat space, and then I would just do mine. So I was like, a cover. But this is like us having the files, and we have to reproduce it by ourselves. So it was beautiful. I trust MOG. MOG is it's a genius. MOG can create masterpiece within like 5 minutes. So I knew what he could do with it. He had his headphone on. Within the next 10 to 15, 20 minutes, he had the base of the production, and then I built my cadence of that. I worked on the lyrics. Then we took it from there.
And so did it sound better than what we have now? Because they had like different microphones back then. The raw files. Did it sound better than what we have now?
It's way. What
was the difference?
Better is relative. Better, okay. As in, I think what I felt was you could feel how natural he sound. You could feel like you're actually standing in a room with him when he was singing. With these new programs that we're using, sometimes when you sing, even you are not too sure that's your voice, but you can literally see this is like the raw vocals from Bob Marley, and you can see it's very professionally taken. Though it's old, but you could see the professionalism in how they took the vocals. It was beautiful. You're actually talking about it. I'm imagining how that day felt like. It was just serene. It was beautiful.
Me too. I can. God, you should hold on to it. If you can print it out and frame it. True. That's a keepsake. And then, what beyond this? Has this in any way opened your eyes to something that can happen within the space, more similar collaborations of this, and what can happen posthumously?
I think I had an ultimate confidence in believing that anything is possible. But we are all human. We say that, but there's certain things that they will tell you right now that in your mind you think this is not possible. But for this happening, I really believe that phrase where they say there is nothing impossible in this world. So yes, I know it's going to open more doors coming from this. I normally don't put too much hopes in one situation. I've never done that in my whole career. I never, even starting from songs, my personal songs, I don't say this is going to be the one that I'm going to take to the Grammy. I never do that. I never put expectations. And I think that's the main reason why I've been able to do this for a very long time. So I know it's a great moment. I obviously think this is going to attract certain type of eyeballs. It's done already. There's certain people that I had meetings with, and then this is the first time they are hearing me because I jumped on their artist, their generation artist record. So it's definitely opening up to different eyeballs, and I think the fans updated me that my Spotify numbers shot up like 200k. Yeah, so it's just new heights. I'm embracing it. It's a great time. I'm still trying to snap out of it. Um, I saw a lot of people were shocked by even hearing the news. Don't worry.
Yes.
Even me that I did the record, that's how I felt. So I understand you guys. I'm still not out of that whole bubble. But yes, it's a great opportunity. It's a great chance for me, and I thank God for that.
And this might be a little bit dark, but doesn't it, like, doing a record between someone who, a legend that has passed on but left his work for us, doesn't it, like, make you think about your own mortality, what you'd want to happen to the things that you've created and the things that you've left behind when you're no longer here? Did that ever?
Yes, this is very deep. But I so something funny, right? I love horror movies, right? That's my favorite genre of
Yeah.
movies. If you want to watch, if you want to get me to watch something, I love horror, thriller. Because I can see through dark stuff and not feel dark. Because I understand it's part of life, and I know that you're not going to be here forever. And my wife doesn't like me when I talk like this because I'm very particular. I keep telling them how I want this to be. I don't want people to touch this. I want you to do this and that. So yes, even before this, I've been that type of person that have these thoughts once in a while, because I think as a man, you need to understand the principles of life and not shy away from it. It's part of you. It's going to happen. These are the only things that you can actually say you're not going to experience. You are going to experience. Why not
Yes.
think about how that is going to be? So yeah, I've been having thoughts about personal life, my family, how my kids will be taken care of, my music. It even affects my business decisions. That I don't want to be in a situation where somebody has to be the one that my family has to report to in case something has to happen or whatever. Or if somebody like that, I need to trust the people that can actually keep my legacy going. So yeah, these are thoughts that I've had over the years.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, moments like this when I see posthumous collaborations, it just makes me think about my mortality and what happens after now. So I figure that that's the center of it. It will also hit you because the person you're working with isn't with you or isn't with us at all. So, but his work lives on. And talking about legacy, you inched forward also last year with the Jams album. Beautiful album. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I know you're working on the video with Black Sheriff. How's that going?
Yeah, so we have a few things that has to arrive from London. I don't want to give locations on where we're shooting. I don't want people trooping in, but yeah, we are doing that. That's like literally like as we're speaking. It's actually in the works. So yeah.
Okay, and for an album like Jams, you started recording long ago. You think about the difference between that first recording you did and the first recording you did on Jams. What was different in what was different now?
I would say way back when I started, it was me finding myself, falling in love with the art, but not still finding myself. I was trying to sound like what I thought I liked. So it was a combination of various artists that I was looking at the point. So my accent had a guy here called Okonfo Kwade, and then my tone might have Obo, who's now like into politics, big guy right now. And then my cadence will have a bravo, my proverbs will have a bravo. So you could find a lot of people in me and not find me. So it was just me. It's like a test. I was testing just to see how this actually feels like. And of course, when you start, it's really hard to like find yourself from the go. So that's the experience from that time. I was trying to keep a certain type of tone. The voice, even when you hear me rap and you hear me talk, you feel like it's two different people because I was putting up an act. Then when I look at me recording a Labadi, which, let's say Jams, it's literally how I am at this point. I'm rapping how I feel like rap is supposed to be. I'm dictating the pace. I'm dictating the flow, the delivery, everything. So I think it's more of me now and more of an experiment when I started.
And but it has always felt like you have always dictated the pace, not just the pace of your life and your career and everything, but to a wider extent, the pace of hip hop and music in general as it pertains to your country and the continent. Do you feel any sense of leadership in that sense?
Yes, I don't think it was intentional. I just had to, because my reality is my reality, and then
Okay.
I get to see that my reality is different when people tell me about how I do my things, and then they're like, "Listen, I can't do what you do." I'm like, "But this is logic." But then I had to like understand that logic doesn't mean it's relative. People see other forms of how they live their life to be logic. So I got to realize that I like to be in control. I like not to follow. I like to set pace. But I think that's how God made it. If God made all of us the same, I don't think we'll have the world we're living in today. So I find myself to be one of those people that have to set the pace, have to set the tone, start something, have to lead something. And I've always been like that, personally, professionally. So yeah, I see that sense of leadership. Because my wife keep telling me that I need to actually start officially leading certain initiatives that he knows is close to my heart. But then I realized, yes, I have that qualities that I think I can do more like that. So yes, leadership actually comes very natural to me. I don't force that.
Well, how about like the sense of responsibility and the pressure that it gives you? Like, is that something you've come to embrace?
Yes, in the beginning I didn't understand, because I don't know why everybody can say something and get away with it, but when I say something, it doesn't go down well with a lot of people. And I can say a harmless statement, and then the media is like really going wild about it. But then I wasn't taking the positive out of it. I was like, no, because you are different, and then this is the mantle you have, and I have to accept that you have this responsibility. You can run away from it as much as you want to act normal and try to do like you want to get away because this person got away with it. That is not your call. So I've come in terms with the fact that I have a bigger responsibility, and yes, I love taking responsibility. So I don't think that would be a problem for me.
And a part of this responsibility is the responsibility to, I think, something else that you've shown, the responsibility to be gracious, especially when you are under fire. Because I know even with this release and all, I've seen a few things on the internet, and I'm like, no way,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
How can you move the conversation away from this moment for us? So in these moments when these things come up, because it's happened a lot, it almost feels like at every point in your career, you're always having to deal with this, with the strife and all of this. What goes on in your head in these moments?
The beautiful state of mind that I would wish every human being would get to is understanding life itself, and knowing how life works, and then that makes you be at ease, expect people to be them, but then just keep doing what you're doing. Because it started when I started doing music. When I came in and I won 5 awards, there was this notion out there that yes, I've won 5 awards, but I can't do it again. And to be very honest, I actually fell for that. I believe that because there were like traits of great artists that came, and as soon as they become artists of the year, there is this notion in the people's head that's been pushed to them that after you win that, you can't go bigger than that. And I was scared until I beat it, and I was like, oh, so it's not actually real. Life, nobody determine anything. Like nobody can tell you what is happening. Nobody can say what they think you are going to be. It doesn't work like that. So when I understood life, I'm like, okay, that's actually part of it. And people relate to things. You are unlucky for you where you are. This is how they receive things. Sure. Do you want to stop because this is how they receive things? No, I'm not stopping this from nobody. I have my personal goals. I have my personal dreams. I want my daughter to be proud. I want my son to be proud. I want my mom to be proud. I want my fans to be proud. I have people that I have to make proud. So I can't really feed into this energy. So funny thing is if you were part of my team, you would notice that I told all my team that this is going to be the first week reaction.
For real?
Even before, yeah.
Why do you anticipate that? Why do you anticipate that?
Because that is, I've grown to understand this is the people we're dealing with. I was born and bred here, but my thought process is a bit different. I naturally, as a child, was gravitated towards successful stories. So if you did not succeed, I will not notice, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for success. I'll only see the success in you. Every human being, that's how I see it. When I see people fail, I panic because I know it makes me panic. That means it can happen to me. So I don't like when people have like bad situations, because I refuse that for myself. But that's not what a large percentage of the people are drawn to. People will celebrate you, but at the same time, when I can see how hard they want to laugh when something goes wrong. So when I realized that, as confusing as it was for me, I got to understand this is the energy you're dealing with. You have to find a way to sail through. I'm not going to stop doing music because people will have this reaction. But with time, they all come together to still praise Sarkodie. Because the funny thing is, when anything comes up and it has to do with Ghana, I can rest assured you the Ghanaians are going to root for Sarkodie and go like, Sarkodie is the one. So I just have to just keep going and know the people you're dealing with and just work with them.
But do you wish it was different?
Of course, bro. Of course. Everybody wish for a certain situation, but if that's not what it is, you can't do much. But just try to be the version of what you want to see. Hopefully, it can affect a lot of people too. Because people keep asking me, like the same question you asked, you're trying to understand how I deal with it. Hopefully, people can learn how to deal with that, and that can also enforce them to have the same energy towards success. So I wish it was different, but since it's not, I can't do anything about it.
But this thing about like legacy and everything else. At what point in your career did it start finally become confident? Start maybe just wanting to make a mark, and then you make this mark. At what point did you know you had made your mark, and now it's about like legacy and?
I don't know if I can point a particular era.
Can you like point about at any point when these thoughts started like dwelling a lot more in your head?
I think with the legacy bit, it's been side by side with my career. I think I've always had it in my head, but then I took it serious when I went past like 8 years into the game. Then I was like, no, this has been. Because it doesn't feel long to me, because with the way I treat my work, I don't keep counting years and I'm about to win again. I don't do that. So I don't notice how long it's been until I sit down for a second and go like, wow, it's actually been long. I don't feel like that, but that's what it is. Then you start worrying about not denting all these years that you're putting into your brand. Yeah.
A key part of everything that you've said is even down to even the jams is the ability to learn, the ability to grow, the ability to like respond to the world in a very advantageous way. And for someone who has done, for any artist to be successful across over a decade, that takes a lot of change and adaptation. Is it an active process for you, this change and adaptation?
Yes.
Process in your life,
I love that observation of yours, because you can only do. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said the same thing. I said, if you love something, you learn how to keep it. From your job to your car, your wife, your children. You'll find ways and means on how to keep them, because you love them. And if I love my job, how am I supposed to keep it? Does it take me accommodating BS? Of course, I want to keep the job, so I will accommodate it. Does it mean I have to do this? And I might not like it, but because I love my job, I have to learn. So if I have to change my sound, which I don't have a problem with, because I'm a full musician. I appreciate music. It's not just rap. I'm just more relatable with rap, but I love music in general. So it's not a problem for me to change sounds. But yeah. With time, I have great that I have to give props to myself. I have great intuitions, and my reflex is unmatched to me. I feel like I react the right way at the right time, and I don't let time pass before I notice. Even if I let it pass, that means I couldn't do anything about it. I noticed it,
Yeah.
But I'm pretty good with keeping up with the change in my industry, and I try to like tag along and still be able to do it.
I love what happened to the industry when social media happened, and how that affected everything else. Were you a social media person? Did you take to it easily?
I was trying to come out the same way everybody was trying to come out when I started, which was because it was controlled, it was regulated. We had producers who brought out artists, and they were the ones dictating who makes it because they pay to keep the music on rotation. I never had that because I didn't come in with singing. I was doing, and I was not even doing commercial rap. I was doing rap, like hardcore rap. So like, it was hard for me to find producers to support my project. So then I had to turn to Facebook.
Not to cut you before you turn to Facebook. So producers had all the aces. They had all everything, and your job was and they were the ones who determined everything.
Yes.
Or which artists they produced. How did it look then? Because this is unheard of.
But that's what it is. I think in almost all the music industries worldwide, especially even in America, that's what it is at this point. Social media is letting people blow, but if you look at mainstream, it's always people under the labels actually controlling the mainstream. When like it's worldwide sensation and being on rotation on the radio and all these things, you have the labels. Some of them owning the stations. Most of them are friends. They're producers. They determine what's being played on the radio because they're paying. We're talking about wealthy men in the industry. They have the budget to be able to pay the radio to keep their artists on rotation. So for someone like me, it would have only taken a miracle to have a hit in Ghana because it's not possible unless you're signed to any of these producers. Until we had this beautiful thing with social media emerge from nowhere, then I tend to, because it was just out of frustration. I would do songs, you go to a radio guy, they're asking for money. Then I had to go to Facebook and post it there. So the reason why I'm literally the first artist to have a fan base in Africa, and I can say that with confidence because there was never that anywhere. I started doing that, started having comments, and then I built Sark Nation from that. So I didn't care about radio. I wasn't looking at radio because the good thing is I was on radio doing radio battles. I was battling. So now the fans who were listening to that came on my Facebook to see what I was doing. So that is where I built my following. Then I took it to Twitter. And big shouts to this is top secret. My Twitter was created by Payday.
Whoa. For real?
Because I'm a Facebook baby. I never loved anything but Facebook. And then he said Twitter's going to be the new thing. I remember vividly we were in Tema, Vienna City, and then he took my phone and then created the Sarkodie handle right in front of me and said, "You just stay here and see how it goes." So from then, I think most of them came on there, and I think I've loved Twitter. And to date, Twitter is my favorite, and that's what I think I have my most interaction from.
That's such a pivotal moment. It's so weird how you might do something in the moment and you wouldn't know how much repercussion or what it would spiral into. Exactly. So if you hadn't done that, you probably might have gotten there, but later, and some might have taken your name.
Yes.
We all need friends like Payday. Do you still remind him of this?
I don't know if he actually even remembers or knows that he did it. Because the way he said it was so casual, we just having a conversation. Say, yo, this place, if I come there. I don't think he can even remember. I need to ask him if he remember this because he actually created it.
Okay. And then social media changed everything. Now, did you to TikTok easily?
I'm still navigating my way on that. I think I read about social media platforms and personalities, and I got to understand why certain platforms I'm not drawn to. I'm not on Snapchat. I do Instagram, because I can post pictures and not, I think I like platforms that doesn't allow me to say much, and it's because of how I am as a person. So the characters are limited. You don't feel like you want to say a lot. Facebook, you had to go all out. You can pour your heart out. If I'm heartbroken, Twitter will limit my explanation. It will give me few characters, so I can't really pour everything out. But so that's when I realized this is the app that I like. Anything else, I see the impact, but I just don't see my personality on there.
Okay. And then still on the adaptation course, when did the industry, apart from, I know social media regulated the industry and all, but in terms of things like recording and anything, well, what was the biggest change you had to make in terms of recording, in terms of how you approach the game?
The biggest change was back to the responsibility thing that you you spoke about. It creeped
Yeah.
into my recording. Now, because I used to say stuff, I came from a street battle rap culture. So you know that we are unfiltered, we are uncensored. We don't,
Yeah.
anything you want to say, you say, because I know you're not supposed to take it personal. But then when I started becoming mainstream and I brought that same attitude, I had a lot of relationships to sort out because people were offended all the time. Then that creeped into my writing. And also when I saw the effects that I had on children, when families meet me and they say, um, it's actually normally good comments, but then that was scary because I was scared to dent that. They said, "My son loves you. You said something. That's what he's been following." Somebody actually came to me with their son that the dad and the mom speak to, which I think is their responsibility. But when it came to me, they said he doesn't listen to anything they say, but what I say in my music. So he chooses his life choices based on what Sarkodie is saying in his music. So when I hear something like
Whoa.
that, then I'm like, nah. Then that means when I'm writing, as much as I want to have fun, these people are actually taking these things serious. So that creeped into it, and also having children creeped into my writing as well.
And it just changed how you approached it, the words you said, the words you spat out, and
Yeah.
it
Yes.
moved you to the light. Would you say that?
Yes, I think it's a good space. It's a necessary space. If you weigh the options, I think this is a better path in the long run. And I like to play the long game, so that makes sense. That to say something in the moment because this week I'm on a trend, I don't think that's worth it.
Well, for you, you don't even have to say. You just have to breathe loudly. And yeah, so we're going towards the end of this. So I just have like two more questions for you. So we can thank you so much. You've been at this stage of our existence now as an industry, as a culture. We now have hyper connectivity to the rest of the world, not even via social media now, via contracts, via companies coming into our space and exploring, navigating and exploring the best parts of our culture, via people trying to monetize everything that we're creating on a global scale, breaking the pop framework and all. So for you, this flight, this expansion that we're having right now and we're currently experiencing, how do you feel about it? And when did you know this was going to come?
I feel great. It's a beautiful thing that's happening. That's all we all pray for. That I think initially when we thought it was not possible, we were willing to sell out our identity to make it somewhere else. And then you want to go into the States and now start rapping like them or acting like them to be able to survive. Then when time passed, now we're the new crew that they want to sound like us. They think they need a verse from Bernard, they need a verse from Wiz, they need a verse. I love what is happening at this point. Also, and I like it when things are organic. Yes, you can fight for stuff, but when it falls on your lap, that's the most beautiful thing. That is happening organically, but I think in the long run, we have to intentionally try to find a way to maintain the momentum because it could be a wave, which you don't want that to happen. Well, if they are coming in themselves, you didn't force them, then you have to set the rules on how this is supposed to be presented. You have to take power. You have to take charge. You can't just leave it to them because they're coming in and you're excited and that's it. Because they can leave you can leave with you not gaining anything out of it. So I think it's a beautiful time, but I feel like we should be very strategic on how to maximize the benefits that we're getting from it. That to me is the most important thing because we got it organically, but we have to strategically and intentionally keep the momentum going. And to me, that's the main point at this time.
Do you think a way to do this would be for more local ownership?
Yes. Because now the ball is in our court, but we can't let them tell the narrative. Now there is no way our big budget documentary of Afrobeat should be produced by to be owned by somebody on the other side, or you tell the story from that perspective. That should never happen. We should do it. The numbers we are having now, this is the time for business. We should have our app sitting here that our music is sitting on, that we can tend to listen to our African music. We should not always, yes, I support all platforms. I think we're all doing business, but we should have all that vice versa. We should have things down here that is supporting us that they also need to tap into. I believe in partnership, so I don't want it to be one way, and then we're always being handed stuff and just being given stuff and say, oh, take this millions of dollars and this and that, and then we're taking what you might need in the future. Because this is a beautiful moment. It's a powerful golden moment that we can't miss the opportunity to own it. So I think yes, local ownership is. I encourage that all the time. I want people to own stuff here in Africa.
Okay, thank you. And doing this. You've done this over time, and I know your reason for doing it, as we've established in this conversation, your reason for doing it had been adapted over time with growth, with family, with everything else, and even your approach to it. At this point, knowing, I saw what Jams did last year, beautiful work, and now you're starting this year with such an iconic moment, man, such a beautiful moment. And for you, what's most important for you now in all of this? What's your driver now?
I mean, the last conversation we just had is my focus at this point.
Yes,
it's beautiful that ended your conversation, because that is where I'm at. That is why I was a bit passionate when I was speaking about it. I think, I don't think my biggest high at this point is having a big song. That is not going to be. It's not going to give me sleepless nights and go like, oh, my song is like number one. I don't think that high will ever be a thing at this point. But my high is to see that we controlling our narrative at this point. This industry, we having structures that benefits the young ones that's coming. So my state of mind at this point, that's where it is. Of course, I love music, and the fans want me to drop music, I'll do that. But personally, for myself, it's beyond that. So you have had impact. What else? What can you do for the industry? So that is where my state of mind is now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.